afternoon, good evening, good morning to the Danvers residents. Welcome to the Topics of the Town News. This is the January 23rd, 2025 version. So this is the second show for the month of January, and we're continuing with our special guest today, Tony Betancourt, who's our neighborhood special guest. And we have Jim Morose, Danvers Republican Committee. And I don't know what you are anymore, but there's only one leader in this company. So, welcome, gentlemen. I appreciate your time because we are scheduled at odd times to make it work for both DCAT and the Topics of the Town News. So today, our agenda and our opinions are solely by the topics of the town host, our guests, contributors, and commentators. And as usual, I have today's quote or special saying. I just want to read this very slowly because inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. This quote reflects what's going on to us nationally, because I believe that the inauguration on January 20th released a lot of the pressures that we have been living under because our residents are afraid to speak up because they fear the reaction from the authorities. Well, it's time to be free.
Yes.
Free at last.
Free at last. I love that guy, that minister that did the.
Lorenzo Sewell.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I think so. I think
Well, he was
great.
He was great. He was.
And you know what? I meant not to watch that, but I got captivated by what was going on.
Mark, but did you see what was happening? The reason being, the other side was trying to silence the people that were for Trump. That's why a lot of people kept quiet. It's terrible. Shouldn't be that way.
Well, this wasn't just because Trump, because people are afraid of our government.
That's
whether
the point I'm
it's
getting at.
in town, whether it's in the state,
Yes.
or whether it's in the federal.
Yes.
And we need to
Change
be
it.
free again.
Yes.
Well, it's not only the government, it's the DEI policies and the cancel culture.
Well, DEI is dead.
we hope.
I heard a great interview between, what's his name, Mayor? Whatever. He's the comedian.
Okay.
Mayor?
Well, whatever.
Whatever. He's a comedian. He was interviewing Jordan Peterson. And so, Mayor, in the 1990s, he had a hit TV show called Politically Incorrect.
Okay, I remember that show.
Remember?
Yeah.
Whatever his name. And so Jordan Peterson said, don't you know that wokeness is just political correctness on steroids? And here you are agreeing with it. And then last century you were making fun of it and joking about it.
Well, for the last 4 to even as long as 8 years, we have been living under this cloud of reaction to our residents. Our residents are free. And that's my quote is, if you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy.
Well, that's true.
It was Bill Mayer. That's the guy's name. Bill Mayer. Bill Maher? Is that what they call him?
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it.
Okay.
Bill Maher. Got it.
So what we're going to do is review a few items from the national and state views, what are happening in our neighborhood. But these are effects that we are living under. Danvers continues to evolve and transition towards the national results of our elections. Well, Danvers had a very good turnout for the national elections for president,
Yes.
and he almost won in Danvers.
Yes.
Right.
And the thing is that the situation is turning, and hopefully people realize that this is not a dead end. This is the future.
I wish our regular elections could have bring the people out that brought the
Well,
my God, you know.
My next
That's
item
what we
on
need.
here is elections have consequences.
Yes, they do.
And what we're seeing now in the last week is that there are changes coming, and these changes are going to be imminent. Now, the most important one that I have been tracking is that the federal government, under the President of the United States, has finally said no more DEI. Get rid of it. That is the most racial and, I don't know, help me guys.
Yeah, it flies in the face of Martin Luther King.
There
He
you
said,
go.
"I want my children and our people to be to be judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin." And DEI is for social justice, which is the opposite of the content of your character. You get extra points if you're black, white, or whatever.
Hispanic, right?
Yeah, if you're a minority, you're getting extra. It's not an even playing field.
I know.
But again, and it did the way they implement it. It sounds great. It sounds equitable and inclusion, but the way they implemented it was horrendous. It's just horrendous. It was draconian.
I think it makes things worse, honestly.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up again because we have on this show been calling for the elimination of DEI representative and the hired guns that have been in our town hall. And she left. As soon as the town manager left, she was gone. And that is what was driving the DEI in this town. And the town manager, rightfully so, disappeared as well because he saw the handwriting on the wall. And I hope that Danvers goes back to their traditional respect for racial equity, gender equity, and you know what? There's been so many issues that have come up, and I have noticed that primarily it was all started with the thin blue line flag.
Yes, I agree with that.
And after that, the selectmen, in their wisdom, did not accept the thin blue line flag concept for their employees.
They wanted to show their authority. That's what it was. Okay? That's what it was. They wanted to put it down and show we have the power, not you.
Well, 2 down, 2 to go. That's the saying on the street lately. And I hope that people realize that we do need a change.
Okay. Well, Ben, can you put up picture one? Picture one. I just want to.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is the media. Okay, maybe we lied about Biden's health and Hunter's laptop, COVID, Epstein, January 6th, and the Russian collusion and voter fraud. But trust us when we say Trump is a threat to our democracy.
I know, that's what I don't understand.
Okay, so the media are the ones that are hyping up all this fear and hate and anger with their reporting.
Yes.
And so when you hear people say, "Oh, everyone's fearful and they're afraid of what Trump's going to do," well, stop scaring them. Report the truth. What's really happening here is trying to get everything back to a reset, level set, so that everyone's on the same page.
You know what the big problem here is? There was never any punishment, okay, for the laptop, okay, and for Hillary Clinton with the stupid thing that she did to Trump and everything else. Right. There was never any punishment there. That's why it's ridiculous, okay? They get away with everything. The Democrats seem to, everything goes under the shelves and get away with it. That's the problem.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, if you try to compare apples to apples, they're all screaming and crying about Donald Trump, pardoning the J6s, but yet when where are the reporters when Joe Biden just pardoned known murderers who killed cops and raped and
8,000 people.
It's brutal. I mean,
They get away with it. I don't know
the
why.
J6s already had time served. They've all been in jail since 20.
Well, speaking of J6s,
You know what the
let
sad
me
part about it?
introduce a brief film
ahead.
clip that was gathered by my association, the press association
Okay.
that is working on the North Shore. And Ben, if you can put out that clip, it's just a short version of what has been transpiring. And this is a result of transition of the national government, and elections have consequences. So this is the awaiting of the release from the Fort Devens federal prison that is located here in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And this is where they held some of the J6.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is a. Ben, can you throw that on, please? Thank you.
Really?
Okay, we're here in a couple of minutes. So people are going to be let go out of the federal prison in Devens. So I hear. It was supposed to happen before midnight. It is now 1:35 a.m. January 21st in Devens, Massachusetts. Hello. Welcome.
That are being released.
Hi.
No, they look like criminals, don't they?
They,
That's the point. You know
these are people that have lost years in prison from their life.
And how much it costs them for lawyers and everything else too? I wonder if they can turn around and sue. You can't sue the federal government, can you?
Well,
yes, you
why
could.
do you think Joe Biden pardoned the J6 committee? And they weren't even, no.
Let's listen. To,
Was in here that needed to hear it, so it hasn't been for aught, right?
Yeah.
God uses it all. What's your name again? Creates all things for good, right?
2 years ago.
Romans 8:28.
What, I'm sorry?
Romans 8:28.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, we were at CCAP.
Bible school.
Oh, you're
So I was there.
I thought about going to that.
Yeah, I
In
was there.
23, March 23.
It's
That
terrible.
was her 80th
Without doing
birthday.
anything.
As a matter of fact, that's why you two look so familiar, because I've seen you guys in the visiting area. I was out there in the visiting area.
I went live at the protest on March 1st.
Did you? Yeah, awesome, awesome.
Ben, I think
We were down
that's
for CPAC.
quite enough for now. Thank you. I just want to make the Danvers residents aware that in our midst, the federal government has been imprisoning individuals that probably haven't done anything.
That's the
and
problem.
and the thing is that we didn't even know that they were at Fort Devens.
No, I didn't know they were
I didn't
there.
know that either.
So
And the other thing is, like I said, President Biden, pardoned the J6 committee, but there's no charges against them, but they did. They concealed evidence, and then they destroyed evidence, and one of the big things of evidence that they obstructed was that there were 27 FBI informants, or what do you call them?
They were
Confidential informants.
agitators.
They were
Agitators.
agitated. They're the ones that did all the crime, and that's the whole, entrapment. They were all entrapped.
Yes.
It was the whole story.
I think it was a setup, if you ask me.
But
Well,
but because the media, they can't tell the truth. They're going to go with the lie because they can't help themselves.
so I wanted to get this across because it is happening in our midst. I mean, Fort Devens is not that far away.
No, I've been.
No.
I went
And
up
the
there.
thing is that we've had individuals in all kinds of prisons across the country. And what they've been doing is separating them so they could not collude into anything. But this is a result of transition of the national government. We are under a new directive from the White House, and we need to understand where we're coming from. We should, first of all, and I will repeat this over and over again, national and federal DEI roles are eliminated and defeated. Town, state must also eliminate DEI from their organizations.
We
And
need
that
the
is
best.
to
We
be
need the
seen
best.
because our temporary town manager or interim town manager is currently preparing the budget
Yes,
for
I did hear
the
that.
upcoming year.
Did hear that.
And I am going to be looking forward to reviewing that and striking those allowances that they will probably include, and they'll hide them in the HR budget. That's where it's been before. So.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So that's what my contribution to this national tragedy that's happening, and I reserve the right to come back to some of these items because, as you know, I have always been only about what's going on in Danvers and the North Shore.
Well, that's what's important to us, but everything gets affected.
We are affected by the national and state.
Yes.
Now, look what's going on with the state legislators. They're suing the federal government for the fact that we will no longer accept birthrights of immigrants in this community. So we are waiting, and we'll report on that later. So, Jim, you have anything else that you want to add nationally?
No, I think I can't wait till we get to the zoning.
All right.
And
So,
the town, the selectmen's
well,
meeting
let
last
me
night. That's
just
right.
report,
Good stuff.
and I don't know if Tony, you were at the meeting.
I watched
or
it.
not.
I
You
didn't go.
watched
I
it.
watched it on TV.
Danvers town manager's search continues with limited results. Currently lacking direction of what will this town manager be responsible for when appointed. Coley Rubicki, and we all know Coley, gave a very objective analysis of the qualification requirements that have been spelled out by the consultant.
He did a good job.
Coley did a good job.
That's what I'm saying.
The consultant failed to represent what this town manager will be responsible for.
No qualifications.
That's right. And the thing is, thank you, Coley.
Coley is a professional. That's his job. He's
HR.
He's an HR person, and he went through the job, posting, and he said, "There's no meat in here. Where's the beef?" He listed all the quality. You got to go back and listen to it. Coley did a great job. I mean, he must do. He's an excellent.
He is.
HR
He is
person.
very
he knows
good.
his stuff, and he listed specific qualifications that needed to be had. Of course, they didn't talk about anything DEI, but he needs to have certain educational levels, certain 10 years experience, and a lot of things he listed was super.
All they were doing in the I copied the requirements from the internet site that that the town has. And I also found a description by the consultant that was going to represent that the submittal of applications by individuals was between January 9th and January 29th. What are they rushing? They have not even developed the qualifications of what this individual is supposed to be doing, but they have proceeded in establishing a calendar already. And I'll tell you why that is happening. Because the Board of Selectmen have directed the consultants to be complete before the annual town meeting. And that is not right.
No, you can't rush
They
it.
should take their time
Right.
to actually represent the town.
Well, not only that, shouldn't the selectmen be doing what Coley
Yes.
Rybicki did and list out exactly, because it's the selectmen or the select board members that are the elected officials of the town that are supposed to be directing the town and the town manager what to do. And so therefore their direction should be part of his job description. But again, they're passing the buck.
They're abdicating their responsibility. And you know what? I have to apologize because my voice level has risen to a point where I think I'm yelling. And I do not want to be yelling. I want to be calm, just like Coley was.
But that's
And-
my job to yell. And
I know.
I
Me too.
was
Even when I talk normal, I'm yelling.
I was reprimanded by the Board of Selectmen for talking to Coley because we need to talk to the board.
Well, you got to
To
go
the
through the
chair.
chair. You're
To,
supposed to go through the chair.
to the chair, that's right.
Yeah, he told me the same thing when I
Yeah,
got up
you
there.
gotta-
I
and
heard.
talked about the DA.
I
I
always make
heard.
a mistake
We'll
too.
get to that later.
That was a hell of a good report from the DA.
Yes, it was.
Mr. Tucker was very good.
It goes to show
Special-
you that we're messed up.
You know what really concerned me is that we had so many parents there when the whole original incident happened, and they were all concerned about this law and the fact that the police and the school systems both hands are tied by this law. But I don't think anybody knew that they were coming. I mean, I know it's a public meeting and it was posted and everything else, but unless someone says, "Hey, come on, let's go," they're not coming.
It was posted as a public meeting as a report by the police chief.
I understand that.
That's it.
The normal people are too busy living their lives. They forget to pick up their kids
Oh.
on a busy day. I know I've done that.
That's true.
You
My
have?
turn to pick up the kids? No, sir.
All right. So the next item that I
True,
would
though.
like to talk about is a special town meeting
Okay.
scheduled for February 3rd.
Yes.
And is primarily in regard to zoning, but there are overruns on the budget and
Yeah.
transfers.
Yes.
So I don't understand why we even have this zoning meeting, but you wanted to talk about zoning.
Yeah, I want to talk about zoning, and we did the MBTA zoning here in Danvers, and
Yes,
there's
we
been a
did.
lot of hubbub. Milton sued the state for the law, and so if you listen to the media, they're telling you that there's nothing really wrong and the law is fine. They just have to tweak a few things, right? No, the law is flawed. The governor had to write some kind of emergency thing to create it's an emergency bill because we have a emergency housing shortage. So that's how they fix bills now. They did that twice on the gun bill that they passed. And see, this is what happens when we implement woke, one-size-fits-all policies from the UN to the feds to the states down right into town hall. And it's not only zoning, it's traffic, it's the policing of that juvenile law of 2018 that the DA just talked about, and school and academics, it's one size fits all. And in that policing law, the judges now have more jurisdiction than the DA. The DA can't have that discretion they used to have. It's only the judge does that now. And then, again, we talked about this. DEI is, content over character versus other criteria. But Ben, put up picture number 3. So we'll just focus on the zoning, because the zoning, there's the MBTA Communications Act is a misguided myth, and if I can read that, I can't read it. Can you make that bigger? I need to read the middle there. In its bid to create a one-size-fits-all, that's good, statewide solution, Beacon Hill enacted misguided legislation that fails to address our state's housing cost crisis. Okay, so it's just, it's a one-size-fits-all statewide solution that didn't work, and they had to write an emergency order to fix it. They did the same thing with the gun laws. Now let's put up picture number 4. So people are addressing this. You're not going to hear about it because they don't want you to know that. Representative Sweezy, who is from the he's from the Plymouth 6 Plymouth down the Cape, and he's got several laws, one of which is an act repealing Section 3A relative to the MBTA communities. He wants to repeal that. So we need to get our state legislators to stop this, bad laws. They're passing, it's legislative malpractice. They pass these laws and they're all flawed with unintended consequences, and we need to stop it. And every bill needs to stand on its own. This whole, MBTA zoning was a one-paragraph thing in a bill of everything else, these omnibus bills. And that one paragraph turned into 12 pages of mandates that have...
Yeah, but
they pulled it out of thin air. They just made it up. This is promulgated regulations, and it's bad.
Jim, what has happened is that 2 lines in the bill has turned into 12 or how many pages. That's because the legislators do not really make that law. They allow the bureaucrats in our housing department or whatever. The one thing that I don't understand is that the massive zoning multifamily units already encroach on our town character.
They do.
State laws are being imposed to circumvent our local zoning rules. State has suspended our town culture and quality of life. Zoning to be discussed at the town meeting. The question is, why hasn't this zoning been explored in advance? Now, we have Mr. Bates saying that we have been studying this thing for 14 years and all that. That is not what this bill is all about. This bill is trying to control the costs of each unit. If we get away from governing and imposing restrictions on our developers, we will have additional housing. But no, we want both. We want the cake and we want to eat it as well.
Well, it's worse because the downtown zoning, as it is, like just look at the corner of Maple and Hobart. That's, by right, I think it's, 4 units per acre. But with special permits, you can get up to 24 units per acre. So that's what that zoning is downtown, that overlay Danvers area. Going down High Street, it's going to be, the same thing. It's, by right, you can only put 4 units per acre, but on High Street, it's up to 36 per acre with a special permit. So if you think that's big at the corner on Maple Street, all the way down High Street is going to be much bigger. And not only do they increase the density of living spaces, they decrease the parking requirements.
Yes.
I mean, if that's not a recipe for disaster, I'm not a cook.
Well, you have hit on the problem that has developed because this has happened 2 to 3 years ago. And we allowed it to happen because our leadership in the town hall, in the planning department, and in the land use department, and we all know who's running that, has come out and supported every function that the state legislature has been pushing down our throat. Now, the problem is is that our state legislators are not responding to the needs of the population.
And it doesn't, you're right, elections have consequences. Okay, we have local elections coming up in May this year. And each precinct has 6 town meeting members that are gonna be up for re-election. Okay, so 8 times 6, that's 48 seats. I can tell you right now, as Mark just mentioned, that Bill Bates and the powers to be all said that we've been talking about this for 10, 15 years and this is what we want. Well, no, because there were always 5 to 10% of the people at town meeting, me included, probably one of the ringleaders, no, this is not good for Danvers. No, we don't want this. No, this is not Danvers. And so all these we need to find out which one of these town meeting members support all this MBTA zoning and vote them out. And we need people who want Danvers to remain Danvers to start running for office and getting rid of this stuff. Okay?
Jim,
What I like about it is affordable. That's the best part. Yeah, affordable. Can anybody afford that?
what does that mean?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Affordable.
Tony, I have a comment that I want to bring up to both of you because I've had that said to me several times already, is that we at the show and as we attend these meetings and comment on the issues that are happening, we are looked upon as some leaders of the community. However, the leaders that are elected are not listening to any one of us. So
Oh, they listen.
they listen and they let it go in one ear and let it come out the other.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. That's
Another thing what's terrible about the parking situation, okay? And we know we've got a problem with parking. Do you ever notice right now that all the parking spaces are squeezed? Do you want to say before you used to have, you be able to open a door? Yeah. Now you park a lot of parking spaces. If you got a good car, you don't want to park there because you're going to get scratched. I'm telling you, it's terrible.
Look at the new design of the sidewalks and the planters along Maple Street and Hobart, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you park next to those planters, your door is going to hit the planter. It's not going to hit the sidewalk, but because it's above, but they'll hit the planter because you can't open the door. Now, who is designing this stuff?
This, again, is one size fits all cute little zoning. It looks cute on paper. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. But in reality, it's just causing,
It's the same thing as the ramps on 62 and on 128. Right. That was supposed to be improvement. Improvement? There's more accidents
one
now.
Size
it's
fits
worse.
All zoning.
That was 20 years ago.
I know. And we're still suffering with it.
All right. Next update.
That's the sad part.
And not only are we suffering, we should get the accident reports again. I think that Elliott Street and 128, there were more accidents right there than any place else in town.
You know what they did? They took the accidents getting on the highway and put them on the in the towns. What happens? Because before, a lot of accidents was when you were getting on the highway. The other hit
well,
you
you've heard from the police chief that they have been able to do statistical work like they used to 10 years ago. Now he had numbers of crimes,
I noticed that.
Police, actions. Why not ask him for the number of accidents that have been happening and compare them to 10 years ago? The thing is, they don't want to do that because, hopefully that the police chief will finally come up with this statistical information. But he made a commitment to the Board of Selectmen to report quarterly. So this is the first quarter that he reported on. Let's see what happens in April.
Yes. Well, the airport used to be quarterly too. They used to come. Haven't seen them in years, except for the other.
Well,
it's crazy,
speaking of the airport, we'll get to that.
Oh, I understand.
We only got 22 minutes.
I know.
So we're going to have to pick up the pace. I'm going to zip it.
Okay, you're going to zip it. Let's go to the DPW director.
Go ahead.
The resignation and retirement. We need an investigation of what happened and how it happened.
They don't want us to know.
Because Why? Because we have opportunities, and like I mentioned at the selectmen's meeting this last week, we have a dump or landfill backfill happening, $12.5 million worth of revenue that's coming through to the town, but at what cost and how much is really going to be reaped by the town, we don't know.
And he was in charge of it.
What opportunities are there? I mean, it's rift for, fraud, and,
It leaves everybody thinking. Maybe that's why everybody's been leaving. You know,
So,
who knows?
as I mentioned that at my meeting, at the selectmen's meeting, I had the issue of solar panel array, landfill
Yes.
operations, is becoming a $12 million receipt operation, which is generating invoices and spending tax dollars. No business plan that has been put out to the public. And the thing is, it's operating on its own. And when I left the meeting, I had the electric division, I don't know what his position is anymore, but he ran after me and he wanted me to explain to him what was I asking for. I've been asking for this thing for 3 years. And Mr. Lane at that time would not give me any background. I televised the visit to the site, and I'm going to do it again, but now I'm looking at the $12.5 million. How is that being spent, and who's collecting the revenue? So, going back, I'm not going to go through my dissertation about the DPW director.
Is there going to be a savings with this solar array? Are we going to make money off this, or is it going to cost us money? That's the problem.
It's probably going to cost us money
That's
because
stupid. That reminds me of, again, the dispatch center. We're going to get 3 dispatch centers, 3 communities. It's going to pay for itself. It's going to take care of itself. What happened? We have 1 dispatch center. We got a big unit with 1 dispatch center only.
and now they're looking for additional improvements and expansion of the police station.
But they told us it was going to be 3. We're going to save money. Where is the savings?
Well, I also asked
Where's the savings?
I also asked the question about access to the training room
I did hear that.
at the police
I did hear
station. The public has no access to
Hold
it.
it, hold it. Did you tell me you were a Democrat?
I don't tell them anything. They don't deserve to know anything. But the problem is that the town hall is resisting public access to that location, and we need to demand that we can have meetings in there.
You should be able to, as long as it doesn't interfere with police business. I don't know if the door's separate. I really don't know.
They
Yep.
don't have training every day.
No.
They don't have training every hour. Well, that's beside the point. So, my next item was that I was asked, or I think I was asked,
Okay.
on December 17th
Okay.
by the Board of Selectmen to provide a proclamation that would define and explain and request Beverly Airport action in regard to the expansion of the airport, the expansion of the runways, and the gigantic hangar
Okay.
that has been planned.
Okay.
And I submitted that, but the chairman, in his wisdom, did not want to consider that. But I will submit it again, and I will ask for it to be on the agenda for the next meeting, which is, I think, February 3rd.
Okay.
Well, that's where the
No, February 2nd, maybe.
No, wait, hold it.
No,
It got me. I think it was in the.
no, it's the 4th. The 3rd is the town meeting.
That's what I was going to say.
3rd
yes,
is
okay,
Monday,
yes.
yeah.
So, it'll be
So
the
the
day
4th,
after
it'll be the 4th.
Yeah.
I'll be there. And I'm going to ask for the proclamation.
You gave him this proclamation, right?
Yes.
I got it with Danvers Select Board Proclamation, expansion of the Beverly Airport and the impact on the quality of life in Danvers, and you gave him the whole thing.
This is
that
a
right?
2-page, yes, sir.
Yeah, you go.
And that was submitted. And what I was told is that it couldn't be discussed because there was litigation. What litigation? There is no litigation going on about that hangar. The only thing is an appeal to the Mass Department of Environmental Protection, and they are looking at the facts in regards to that hangar. That hangar has been planned and executed in 2 segments because they wanted a piece at a time. They didn't want to show their deck of cards all together because that hangar is 300 feet long, 135 feet wide, and 47 feet high, which is the largest structure in Danvers, basically, because it's 40,000 square feet, and it's just under 40,000 because it falls into a
Different category for the foam versus water.
for the fire protection, correct.
Well, wait, I mean, there was also a discussion at the selectmen's meeting about should we have our 2 representatives or should
Well,
we have
that-
our own? Is that coming up on your list?
Yeah,
Mark? Okay.
it's a current status of operating or filling a vacancy on the board of Beverly Airport Commission. There is a vacancy due to resignation of Aaron Henry. Aaron Henry publicly resigned at the selectmen's meeting, but to preserve the access of the town hall to the airport.
But you know the sad part? The last meeting they had, if Aaron Henry wasn't there, they wouldn't be able to have a meeting. They wouldn't have enough people there. That's what was terrible, okay? He was not there representing the town of Danvers, okay? That's what's so terrible. So that meeting that they just had at the airport would not have happened if Aaron Henry wasn't there, okay? That was the
agree.
problem.
I agree, and
But see, no one understands what's going on here, okay? We're making it too easy for the city of Beverly, constantly. They keep slapping us in the face, and we keep accepting it. It's stupid.
the actions of the commission, the Beverly Airport Commission, are proceeding without our representation. We have Bill Kosawan, and I don't know where he stands, but we need additional representation.
But Mark, the sad part about it is, okay, they're supposed to represent more. They're not representing the town. They're representing the city of Beverly. That's the sad part, okay? That's why I don't understand. I think what we should do is take our money, okay, and get more, as much as we can out of them, and have people go to the meetings, like the select board mentioned it, that maybe we should have people go to the meetings to watch, see what's going on, and come back and report to the selectmen, okay? And take the money.
We have several options. One of them is take the money, and the money is nothing.
Exactly, I understand that.
It's a matter of being present and voting against some of these expansions that have happened. In our experience, and I'll tell you what right now, is that the experience on the board right now is that they've both voted for the expansion of the hangar.
Yes.
They didn't know what they were voting about because it was never explained as such a large structure with an impact to the neighborhood.
It's been like this for as long as I've been watching. I've been watching this thing for 19 years. Our representatives have given them whatever they wanted. Even when Karen Nelson was there, she gave them whatever they wanted. Right now with the Aaron Henry, they walk in the town hall, they get whatever they want. As a citizen of Danvers, you would not get the presentation that the people of Beverly Airport are getting. That's what's sad.
Well, what's going on with the environmental
Well,
reports and studies?
hold on.
Yeah,
This is
okay.
just to conclude this loop.
Yep.
We are in a position that we were in back in 1997 where we can negotiate additional representatives.
Yes.
Like, according to the land square yard or square acres that we have in Danvers compared to what's in Beverly, we should have at least 4 representatives, and maybe then we can discuss some of the impacts of our residents, because we are on the flight path of every single plane that comes in or out.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret, okay? I think they have sold off so much land over there. I don't know if they have more land than we do over there anymore, okay? That's the sad part. They haven't told us that yet. I don't think they do. I think we have more land over there in the Danvers side than the whole Beverly Airport. That's the sad part.
Well,
Okay?
then
The reason being, you know how many lots they've sold? Since I've been watching, they've sold 6 lots off, and these were big lots, okay?
and they're
So-
all developed.
They're all developed, and they're getting tax money for Beverly, okay?
That's right.
All on the Beverly side. The stupid representatives in Danvers have let this happen.
Well, the next item, I hope, and this is the thing I don't understand.
It's frustrating. That's why it's so frustrating, because no one
The-
understands it. It takes so much to understand what's going on over there.
The
They are
bo-
taking advantage of us.
The Board of Selectmen, in their wisdom, through the chairman, have basically ignored our requests or our concerns.
It's too much work. They
The-
always do that.
The negotiations took place in 1997. I was on the board, and it can happen.
Oh, we
There's
know.
nothing that is even cast in stone in regard to what's going on, because Danvers is directly affected by the noise, the air emissions, the impact of the structures. I mean, people living along Old Burley Street, and one of them is directly affected, 191 Burley Street, are getting flooded,
No kidding.
and they don't care,
No.
and the town doesn't care.
Well,
So,
Tony, you brought it up at when they were going over the zoning map. There was a watershed area that was up in by the Connors Farm. You said that's near Wenham.
It is. They don't even know where it is. It's stupid. I don't know. Or they don't want to tell us where it is. That's the problem. I don't know. Don't you think if they're talking about a well that was shut down, they know where it is?
let's-
Yeah, we should
let-
find out what kind of issues Wenham is having with the
Well,
airport as well.
let me
as
tell you
far as
something.
Contamination. and
Wenham has
EPA.
raised their
Yeah, but we don't know
issues,
that. Yeah.
but they
About
they
14
have,
years
I
ago,
believe.
14 years ago, the ladies of the lake, okay, found contaminated land with lead in it, okay, on the Wyndham Beverly side, okay? It cost them over $500,000 to clean that up, okay?
Okay, there you go.
Okay,
Well,
this might be the
we-
reason of that well. Who knows?
We have an opportunity to direct our comments to the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, who are looking at this particular project. And I support, or I would ask everyone to send a letter to this individual, because I will be sending one myself. Now, the last item on the...
Do you imagine that 14 years ago, $500,000 what it would be today?
I know. Town meeting actions in May of 2024 requested that an environmental report be prepared by Beverly Airport to identify and remedy the effects on the Danvers community. Noise, air, water, hazardous contaminants imposed on Danvers property. We, as the town has done, prepared a letter that I got a copy
Yes,
of
and I thank you very much for what you
that
did.
didn't say squat about what the problems are. And basically, there was a follow-up meeting with the airport manager and the town manager at that time, and that was Steve Bartha, and they basically said, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it.
You know what? You know something? They don't want to do it. You know why they don't want to do it? Because they won't pass it. Okay, that's why. Okay, I'm going to give you one little thing here. Okay, I have a film at home. Okay, this goes back from quite a while back at one of the meetings that we had at town hall. Okay, that when they did the last expansion. Okay, these people don't even know what they're doing. Okay, on runway 9 they had a run-up area. Okay, the planes over there were throwing 85 decimals. People couldn't stay in their house. They had to move the goddamn run-up area to a different area because the noise was so loud. How can they tell the town that 65 decibels never leaves the airport when they had 85 when they revved up a plane on the ground, okay, at that run-up area? They don't use that run-up area. So the FAA gave them money. They put that run-up area in for what? Nothing. They can't use it anymore. They got to use a different area. There's too many problems over there. I don't even know where to go anymore. It's too much.
The issue here is not directly by Danvers. It is by the mayor of Beverly.
Yes.
Because if you realize what's happening over there is that directions are given to the airport commissioners, who are made up of 7 Beverly commissioners and 2 Danvers commissioners.
2 yes men from Danvers, best way. Well, Mr. Caswam's a little bit better.
Well, he voted for that hangar
Well, that's
lease.
true, but hey, he
But
impressed me. I'm telling you, I thought it was going to be worse.
But they didn't know what the hell they were doing. That's the problem. And the thing is that they are not representative of the community. They're representative of the air community or pilot community.
Yes.
So we need to get after them.
We need the select board to wake up and do something here, okay? We need the town of Danvers to take care of their goddamn residents. We need it.
Well, one of the comments that I have made, we as a select board are ready to meet and resolve this matter, which is of great importance. The topics are, and I identified this to Mr. Bennett. Flight level aviation hangar development must have a moratorium. Master plan update and review for community acceptance before it is acted upon, because they claim that they don't have to act on it and it will expire in its own time. That's not true. Immediate appointment of the current allotment of the vacant commissioner's Danvers seat, which is Mr. Aaron Henry's seat, and if we need to, we should replace the additional people. Alternate approach based on land area. Renegotiate the number of Danvers appointed commissioners from the current 2 to a more representative 4 out of the current 9.
Now, I have one dumb question. I know to me it seems dumb, but in my mind I can't understand it. Now, I have a funny feeling we are fighting this hangar and we don't want it, but if they build it, why should we not be able to collect tax money on it?
Because we're extremely handicapped because of FAA rules. And the legislature has, you're right. There is an issue. The legislature in this state, our representatives, don't know what the heck they're doing in regard to the airport.
I don't think everybody wants to close their eyes and want us to go away.
Well, they were available when they were running for re-election.
Yes.
Re-elections are over,
Yes.
so these are the consequences that we have to live with. Okay. So I have 3 minutes, and what I like to do is...
Thank you very much for helping with that process.
Well, I would like you to make a closing statement. I think we all deserve to express our views at this table because there is no fear of, restitution from anybody. So, Tony, your turn.
No, I want to thank you very much for all you've helped me do, okay? I've been fighting this issue for a long time, but it's not just for me. It's for the residents, okay? I'm a town meeting member. I took an oath. An oath is to watch your town and do what's best for your town, help your town mature, and so on and so forth. Well, the town is being bashed over here, okay? I can't, my honest opinion, I shouldn't be a town meeting member if I can't help my town out. Our town is being taken advantage of by this airport in so many ways. So, I mean, really, that's why I fight so much more. As a town meeting member, I see it. It's supposed to help the town grow. Well, they're taking advantage of us. It's not right.
All right, Jim?
Well, you mentioned this at the last town meeting in May 2024. We passed a resolution to have the town approach the airport and do an environmental study plan. And to this day, I brought it up when the planning board was talking about this at the planning board, the hangar. I said, has anybody presented this to the airport? It's not our purview. Well, whose purview is it? I mean, we passed it in May and nothing has happened that I'm aware of. And so we have to hold the people accountable. I'm guilty. I bring up all these issues and I don't and that's what they count on, not following through. We really need citizens to get involved and start getting down to town hall and telling them how you feel about what's going on, from one-size-fits-all zoning all the way down to the policing and everything else that's going on. It's pathetic. It's just pathetic, and we need to vote out all the town meeting members that just rubber stamp all this stuff without even knowing what the zoning just did to us.
And the
36 units per acre, more units, less parking requirements, and it's just a recipe for disaster. We got to stop it. All to you, Mark.
We need to.
Can I just put 2 cents in? First thing we got to do, the voice recognition at town meeting has to change. Okay?
Well,
we
you
have to have a vote, so
you
we
had
know.
an opportunity
So the people
to impose a clicker system so you can vote.
Is that 59 minutes or 59 seconds?
Seconds. So, gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope we can reconvene this thing in February, because February is going to become a very active month because the budget is being prepared, and we need to watch what is included, what is not. And we need to control our costs.
and hopefully they'll be nicer to us because it's be Valentine's Day.
Oh, I'll bring you a rose. How about if I bring a rose to you guys?
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah. Well, the turkeys are
We can
on
take it
vacation.
home for the wife.
The turkeys are on vacation.
Looks like this show is over. Good night, Danvers.
Good night, Danvers. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year. Enjoy it.